Alright, got another video game review for you. I just finished Mafia Definitive Edition for PS5, PS4. I played it on PS5, and I platinumed it, just platinumed it. And I gotta say, what a stellar remake. I absolutely loved it. That's why I have to talk about it right now. Because I'm one of those people that remembers the first Mafia game from PS2. I remember playing that back in the day and getting stuck on the notoriously hard racing section that I think is like the 5th chapter. And yeah, I remember getting stuck on that and just giving up on the game years ago. And they fixed that in this remake for sure, which I liked a lot. And I went on YouTube and watched some comparison videos to what's different from the old game and stuff like that, what they changed storyline wise. And I gotta agree, I think I love all the changes they made, especially all the dialogue changes. I think it's more natural in this remake version. Just awesome all the way around. The visuals in the game are stunning. The lighting's incredible. The first thing I noticed was the lighting and just the way the sun was glaring when you would step outside. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. There's no real reason to ever go back and play the original Mafia. Even though it's the one that started the series, this remake is the definitive edition. I think that's why they called it definitive edition. They should call it remake though, because it really isn't the same game as the first Mafia. It's much better in a lot of ways. This Mafia remake was made by Hainer 13, which came out with Mafia 3 back in 2016. The original Mafia game was made by Illusion Softworks. So, Hainer 13 took over the mantle. And 2K Czech, I think, made Mafia 2, which I love Mafia 2. It's the one that really made me a fan of the Mafia series. I think Mafia 2 is like one of those greatest games of all time, type things. If you've never played it, you definitely got to play through it. It is an incredible story. And a great world they built. And what's interesting about the Mafia franchise, at least for Mafia 1 and 2, is that they build these huge, open worlds that are detailed like crazy. But if you just play through the story, you'll never see more than 20% of the open world. Because it never really lets you free roam while you're doing the story mode. I mean, you could just go and drive off and do your own thing and not even think about the missions, but the game really wants you just to do the story missions, and the world is really just a backdrop for the missions. There's nothing much to do in the world after you beat the story. There's a couple side missions, but really there's nothing much to do besides, do some collectibles, go for platinum, stuff like that. Mafia 3 was actually the first game to take advantage of its open world. There's lots of side activities to do, lots of things to get distracted with. Actually, I feel like that's the thing that brought down Mafia 3 a lot, was the repetitive side missions that just littered the open world, and it really distracted from the main story, which is actually pretty good in Mafia 3. But since you got to do so much in the open world, most people don't even see the last third of the game, really. Which is a disappointment, because as far as Hainer 13, the developers of Mafia 3, are concerned, I mean, I feel like Mafia 3 is a great, first entry from a studio, right? I mean, it's got its problems for sure, but it's definitely a great first step for, first game of a new studio type thing. And Mafia Definitive Edition, the Mafia remake, was their next game that they did, really. They rebuilt Mafia from the ground up. It's an entirely new remake. And, we've gotten some great remakes recently. Resident Evil 2 comes to mind. Final Fantasy 7 remake also comes to mind. These remakes are a great way to go back and experience old games in a new way for a new generation of people that never played the original games. And I hope they keep doing this with other games. I really hope the next remake we get is like The Getaway. Remake that game, because that game's incredible. I would love to see what it would look like on PS5 type thing. So, I feel like Hainer 13 really bounced back after the ho-hum results of Mafia 3. They definitely bounced back with this remake, but I feel like it might have been a little bit, too little too late, because after the Mafia Definitive Collection came out, where they bundled all 3 games together, Hainer 13's next game was actually canceled. And they lost like $53 million. They had to lay off like half of its staff. So it's not looking good for Hangar 13. They might, close up shop soon if their next game doesn't sell at all, if they ever get to make another game. So this Mafia remake might be the last thing you see from Hangar 13. But still, what a great experience. What a great way to bring back, an old game for a new generation. They really should do this with like every game. But yeah, getting back to Mafia remake, I mean, this game was stellar from the ground up. I feel like the one complaint I have is audio-wise. There is an audio bug in the game, and I've actually experienced it, and I saw other people were experiencing it on Reddit and stuff. And for some reason, if you got your headsets plugged in to this game, you might experience a point where you get ear raped, and just like the static noise will just start out of nowhere. And in order to stop it, you got to just restart your game. You got to like close the game entirely and just reboot it. It's happened to everybody across every platform. So that's definitely a bug that was in the game that they aren't able to fix. They still aren't able to fix the bugs in Mafia 3 because these games haven't been really supported by Hangar 13 because they're going through some major layoffs and stuff like that, as I already said earlier. Which is a shame because these games really deserve some love after they come out. I mean, they should have kept working on Mafia 3, and for how good Mafia remake is, it could be polished up a little bit more. But other than that audio hiccup, there really wasn't much more after that went wrong. The frame rates never dropped. It's very smooth gameplay. I had no problems shooting and getting to cover and out of cover. Nothing wrong on that front. Maybe one other problem with the audio was the voice acting. Every time the people would talk, you would hear them breathe at the end. Like, so they would say a line and they go, like you would hear it like really loud into the mics. So I don't know if they could have cleaned that up. But that was just something with the voice acting and the recording that they just, I don't know if that's what they were going for or if it was a mistake, but it got kind of distracting in the cutscenes to hear these voice actors breathing into the mic. It got really distracting. So other than that, the story was incredible. I love Tommy Angelo. Like, I think great main character, even though like his turn to being a gangster is really quick. It's like he has one mission as a taxi driver and he's like, fuck this job. I'm going to be a gangster. Essentially, that's what his storyline is, right? And as he's becoming a gangster and enjoying the good life of getting, lots of money and doing whatever he wants, he starts to experience what every main character in these type of mafia situations experiences, and that's, the bullseye is on your head. The Don kills anybody that crosses him, and at some point he's going to think you're going to cross him and he's going to kill you. It happens to everybody in the mafia in these movies and video games, and that's Tommy's story. He goes through loving the gangster life and then realizes that if he stays in this life, he's going to die either in the streets or he's going to get killed by his own family for any mistake he does, any slip up he does. So I like that little character arc. This is like the pinnacle of a mafia story. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think of mafia stories, you think The Godfather, you think Goodfellas, and I think you got to think Mafia, as far as video games are concerned, is definitely up there with those type of stories. And this is like the storytelling capability of video games. It can match movies like The Godfather. It really can. The last third of this game was absolutely devastating when you find out that Sam betrays you, mainly out of fear for his own life, because he knows if he crosses the Don, Sam will die anyway. So there is a lot of nuance happening in the game. It isn't just straight up, good guy, bad guy. It's nothing like that. There's a lot of moral grays happening in this story. Paulie, one of your other companions in the game, you start off the game with him and he starts, killing people, really quickly. And you start to think, is Paulie like a complete like psychopath? And as the game goes on, you notice that, Paulie's becoming more and more disillusioned with the mafia and he's trying to look for a big score to get out of it. And that's what leads to his death from the Don. And that was a really big twist at the end of the game that I didn't see coming, because I didn't know anything about the original story of the first Mafia game, because I never got past the racing mission, which, by the way, the racing mission in this remake is easy. I got it my first try, and I was playing on medium. When you play the game on classic difficulty, which is the hardest difficulty, that race gets a lot harder. You got to use a few different tricks to pull off those turns. There is a button when you're driving. It's called the ram button, where you can ram into other cars. You got to use that to make these turns, pretty much. So that's how I got through it on classic difficulty. And while the game is not entirely difficult at all, it has that one racing section that is pretty difficult. I felt like it gave me enough of a challenge without getting annoying. You know what I'm saying? Because it could have easily turned into that, where it's just like you keep dying over and over because they're just spawning you in a bad spot or something like that, or they're not giving you enough ammo or something like that. That's the kind of difficulty this game could have had, but they didn't. They made it even. They made it fair. They put a lot of checkpoints in there. So that you can keep progressing. You never really slow down. So even if you die, you don't really get sent back that far. I like that a lot with the game. I don't like it when, games, you do a lot of stuff and then you die and you get sent all the way back and you got to do everything again. I hate those games. A couple of those games are very popular. The Soulsborne series and stuff. These games are super popular, but I just hate that design. I hate having to do everything over again. It is just a time killer. So I did appreciate the checkpoint system. I appreciate that difficulty wasn't too difficult. And you really could get through the game in 2 sittings, If you skipped all the cutscenes, you could probably beat it in 1 sitting. But I wouldn't recommend that. This game is about the story. It is about the cutscenes. These are some well-made cutscenes and motion capture and stuff like that. It's legit acting. Nothing like that first Mafia game. I recommend everybody go watch some comparison videos to the first Mafia game, and your mind's going to be blown by how much they got out of their voice actors in this new one, and how much they got out of the mocap for this new one. It's great stuff. The weapons in this game are pretty limited. They don't give you a lot of options. You got a bolt action rifle, you got a Tommy gun, you got a shotgun, you got a sawed-off shotgun, you got a revolver, a magnum, and a pistol, and a snub nose, a baseball bat, and a switchblade. And you got a couple grenades and a couple Molotovs. They keep it really light on the weapons because that's not what it's about. And I actually looked it up. They actually had way more weapons that they were trying to put in this game, and they cut back a lot. Probably because it's not necessary at all. Once you get used to the Tommy gun's like one of the better weapons in the game, and you really don't need anything else. And the shotgun's really good early on in the game, and you really only need those 2 guns for this whole game. So as far as like weapon variety, there's not much there. The enemy variety is not really there either. It's just I feel like they're going for more like a realism thing. So everybody dies with a headshot. Everybody. Even the 2 bosses. I think there's 2 bosses in this game, and you could just mow them down real easy. It's all about just getting to them and getting a clean shot on them. That's it. And, I got this game during the Days of Play sale on PlayStation. It was $20. I think that's an excellent price point. If you can find it for $20, that's definitely the move. I certainly would, get it for $60. That's why I was waiting so long to play it, because I didn't want to pay $60 for, just a narrative game that's only going to be like 8 to 10 hours. It took me 20 hours though to platinum it, because I really liked it that much that I wanted to replay it again and get all the collectibles. So it took 20 to 30 hours to do all that. So, if you want to get all the bang for your buck, that's how long it's going to take to really much do everything. I really enjoyed it a lot. As I was thinking about the game after I beat it, I started comparing it a lot to Mafia 2, because one, the graphics and the physics of the game, how everything, gets broken apart when you're shooting stuff, a lot of that's in Mafia 2. And it just reminded me a lot of Mafia 2, like the first time playing Mafia 2. So I can't thank Hainer 13 for making this Mafia Definitive Edition, because one of my favorite gaming experiences of all time is playing Mafia 2 for the first time and just being blown away like by the narrative of that game. And I feel like they gave me another one right here. And, I loved it so much that I platinumed it real quick. Like, it only took me like a few days, and I platinumed this game because I couldn't stop playing it. And now I want to go back and play Mafia 3, pick up where I left off, because I remember stopping that game because, I just was in the open world and it was just side mission after side mission. And it just kept distracting me from the narrative. I never really got through it. I got through a lot of the game. I think I played like 20 plus hours of Mafia 3. But I definitely lost the plot because of how many side missions they made you do. I don't think you have to do it, but with me in these Mafia games, I like to 100% them because I feel like that's the goal when you're playing these type of games. There's not much to do anyway. You might as well 100% it. Just I can't express how good the narrative was in this Mafia remake. All the little details were there, the expressions on the characters' faces and stuff like that. It hit well. You know what I'm saying? That the eyes looked alive. There's a problem in video games where the eyes on characters look dead. That is not the problem with this game. You know what I'm saying? That I feel like they did a really good job on the facial animations and stuff like that. The mocap stuff. It really, really looked good for a remake. God, can they do this with more PS2 games? I would love that. I don't know what this Mafia game sold, but I feel like everybody should play it. If you even played Mafia 2 and you liked it, you definitely should play this game if you haven't already. If you're like me and waiting for a price drop, it'll definitely get another price drop at some point. It was just on sale, so I'm sure it'll be on sale again. But yeah, like 9 out of 10 game for me. That's my score for it. Like 9 out of 10. I think that it holds it back from a 10 because there's a couple audio hiccups I don't like in the game. And it really isn't much to do after you beat the story. Like once you beat the story, that's the game. You know what I'm saying? And that sometimes for people is not enough, but for me, it's enough because games take a lot of time to play. And I'm not looking to play a 100-hour game if it doesn't have a good story and a good narrative and you're just doing the same thing over and over type thing. I'm not looking to play those type of games. I'm looking for something to sink my teeth into, get invested in the characters, and I feel like Mafia Definitive Edition did that for me. But anyway, that's it for now. I just want to give some thoughts about this game. I liked it a lot. 9 out of 10. Really makes me want to go back and play Mafia 3 and finish that. 100% that. And even maybe go back and play Mafia 2 again for like the 5th time. Because I beat that game a bunch. That game is high on my list of greatest games of all time. And I feel like this Mafia remake has to be on that list somewhere too. Just tons of good remakes these days. They need to keep doing it. This is a win for Hangar 13. I hope they don't shut down. If Hangar 13 can get another chance at a Mafia game, I say let them. I think they will learn their mistakes from Mafia 3, and they will take the things they learned from this Mafia remake, and they're going to make an amazing Mafia 4. I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to do a Mafia 4 like casino style in the 80s or something like that. That would be cool as hell. In fact, I think that was the original plans for a Mafia 4. It was going to be based in Vegas, and it was going to be like a casino type of storyline. Like Martin Scorsese's The Casino, with Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro, that classic film. It was going to be a lot like that. I would love that type of Mafia game. And if they just cut down on some of these side activities that they did in Mafia 3, just cut it in half. Cut it in half. I think you're going to have a great game on your hands. And I think they might have to do that because they can't get any other game off the ground right now. And half their staff got cut, so they got to do something. And I feel like they definitely deserve your dollar. This game is also on Game Pass right now, Mafia Remake Definitive Edition. It's on Game Pass right now, but I recommend giving the studio money. They deserve every dime they get from this Definitive Edition, I think. I was happy to give them $20 for it. Even though the game was on sale, I still gave them money, That money went straight to them. And I feel like we need to do that with developers that make great games like this. You got to give them your dollar. But anyway, that's it for now. Comment below. Let me know what you thought of Mafia the Definitive Edition. I'm still thinking about this game and the narrative and the characters. Great little story. family is forever, which is the last line of the game. Which, you know, by the way, I love the last line of the game where he's like, you know, money, jobs, even best pals come and go, but family's forever. I really felt that hit home. that line definitely hit home. Because it's very true, you know, very true. True to life. One of the best experiences I've had this year playing a game is Mafia. I really got sucked into this game and I couldn't stop playing it. You know, even when I stopped playing it, I kept thinking about it and I just wanted to keep going. I just wanted to see what would happen next. And, you know, that's when I know a game has me hooked. And it's really good, you know. A few other games did that to me, like Death Stranding did that to me, where I just wanted to see what happened next. And I played that game for like 140 hours to see what would happen, you know. But anyway, yeah. Highly recommend Mafia Definitive Edition. 9 out of 10. That's it for now. I'll see you all in the next one. Comment below. Let me know what you think of the game. And that's it for now. If you want to see me play these games, you can click my Twitch. It's on my channel. It'll probably be in the description of this video as well. But if you actually click my channel, there'll be a link to my Twitch. And yeah, I play games on there. I play lots of games on there. I think I saved my Mafia playthrough, so you can see the entire playthrough of that game on my Twitch. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
I'm gonna do it. Holy shit, I'm gonna do it. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Classic little bitches. Oh, that's what I'm talking about, dog.